Go. That's a good baby. Okay, we're having a few problems here this morning, so hopefully we can have folks will show up. I see we're not right yet, but hey, Helen. Hey, Beth. I had a heck of a time getting this baby to work this morning, so sorry I'm a few minutes late here. Hey, Cynthia. Oh, for some reason, my original live decided to go black, and that was all I could get was just black screen, nothing else. It's like, ugh, that's not going to work. We need to be able to see other than, hey, Bonnie, other than just a black screen. So I was like, ugh, what are you doing to me here? But so we had to redo, and even then it didn't really want to behave. So not the best in the world. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Beth. We want to be found. Now, I'm doing a little experiment right now. I've got my tablet here beside me. Hi, Marcia. And so that when I turn down, I can still see the chat without having to look over my camera. I'm doing that because the new tripod that I was going to get, I talked to Randy just before her wedding, and she said, well, it'll work with your phone, but I think it's going to be too high for you to see your chat over, over the top, because when I turn it, I have to look over the top to see the chat. And I'm like, ugh, that's not good. That won't work. I need to be able to see the chat so I can talk to people. And so I've got my tablet here on my desk. I'm watching the chat on it, thinking that will help in regards, because even though it's got a lag, it's still better than not seeing it at all, obviously. So we're gonna figure out how that'll work. So hi, Anita. Oh, you're not that late, only a few minutes, and I was late. Hi, Tammy. I was late because my phone was acting up again. When it went to switch over to the live, it went black. I'm like, oh, that doesn't work. Hi, Marianne. It's not going to work at all if I can't see, and nobody can see. If all we're seeing is a black screen, that doesn't help anything whatsoever. So I had to restart. So I was about 5 minutes late. So it's only been we've only been on a few minutes. But I don't see Heather on, and I was hoping she'd come on because we're going to make a loop with this wire jig because, you know, she had said she wanted to, she was hoping we'd do that. And, you know, she wanted to know how to make a loop. Not really a loop, a frame like we used. It looks dark there. It is because we had the time change and I didn't turn on the light behind me. So I'll roll over and do that, and that might help some. The time change has made it pretty dark here, unfortunately, so. So, you were looking at the jig? So we're gonna make a frame, for, like, she wanted to know about making a frame since, and maybe it was you too, Marianne, that asked me about that, because of the frame for the sun catcher I made. I haven't seen any more of them ever, other than the one that I got myself. And I got the one in California Dreaming Pack, and then I purchased one from their live sale, and actually this is going to be about the same size. So I'll show you what I mean in just a second here when we turn down. I don't like daylight savings times. No, I don't like daylight savings time either. Leave things alone. So, yeah, the live was behaving poorly, Kimberly. This is actually my second try because the first try, when I went to go on, everything went black. It was like, what are you doing to me? So, you've been making bookmarks? Fun. I like making bookmarks. So, hi, Anita. I said hi to you, didn't I, Anita? Can't remember. Oh, yes, because you said you were late, and I told you you weren't because I was late, too. Well. So, anyway, so we're going to take the wire jig, and I am going to make a form that we can, hey, Renee. We're going to make a form that we can use like the one that we purchased. Yeah. My time, oh, I did go live at 11:30, Kimberly. I went live at 11:30 because I was testing to see if I could get my tablet to accept the chat or the live show so that I could see the chat when I turned down, because Randy and I were talking just prior to her leaving for her wedding, and we were talking about the new tripod because I was looking at the setup and I was like, you know, that's got a regular, the setup, you know, pictures had a regular camera hooked up to the tripod. And I'm like, is that going to work with my phone? Because I always use my phone for my recordings and stuff. And she said, "Oh, well, it should work for your phone, but you may not be able to see your chat when you turn it because it's going to be a little higher than your regular tripod probably." And I'm like, oh, that won't work. We got to be able to see the chat when I'm doing a live. So I went live quickly so I could see if my tablet would go live and I could see the chat. So it will. It's actually right in front of me because I was trying it because I want to see how well it works, and it seems to be doing pretty good. Hi, Becky. So I mainly was just, anybody who showed up didn't even see my face because I just had it facing towards the camera facing towards the ceiling because I was just trying to see if I could get it to work. And I did. It's sitting right in front of me right now. I'm watching it. So it does have a lag so it's a little behind, but I can at least see it. So when I get the new tripod, it does have a spot to hook a tablet on too. You heard me. Yeah, you did hear me, Bonnie, because you answered me. And so, hey, Deborah. So that was what I was doing last night at as late as it was. I was just experimenting a little bit. It did work. Now, I'm not sure I'm still going to get the, hey, Beth, I'm not sure I'm going to get the same tripod that Randy suggested. Heather suggested a couple to me that one latches onto your desk. So I'm not sure about that because I'm not sure where I could get it to latch on good. But there's one that rolls on the floor. And I'm like, now where would I put that if I got that one? But I have a table sitting right beside me, a little table, because the laptop's on it. And the only reason I'm using the laptop at all, it's a really old one. It's the one before the one I use all the time now. Um, it's just to hook the lights on and the speaker when if I use a speaker. So so if this one that Heather was showing me that rolls around on the floor, um, it has a little shelf for putting the laptop on, and it's got a spot. It's got like 2 or 3 hookups so that you can hook a phone, you can hook a um, tablet, all kinds of things to it. So that might be the way I go, because if I finish clearing off this little table of odds and end things, which of course I always throw things onto it. Um, hey Cindy, then I could, put everything onto it. So I'm not sure which tripod I'm going to go with yet, but I do have to decide soon. This one keeps slipping sometimes and it's sort of irritating. So it is nice that I can get the chat onto my tablet so that I don't have to worry about not being able to see it once I flip down. So we're going to flip down in here in just a minute. Like I said, oh, hi, Tina. I was hoping that Heather would come on this morning because, hi, Sid. She was the one that asked me about, or was it Marianne? Or was it both of you? Might have been both of you. We're wanting to know how to make a form like similar to this one. There we go. It's not going to be the same, of course, but I said the only way that I knew if we could do it is with this. We could use this jig and we could. Hey, Dorothy. We could use this jig and make something that would definitely work. So I figured we'd try that. So we'll turn down and I'll show you how it works. And this jig is from Beadalon. It's an artistic wire, one of their artistic wire pieces, tools. But inside there, you can see there's a little dish with all kinds of pins in there. You put the pins in these holes around the edge to form whatever pattern you want to make. So, in fact, the earrings that Randy's been wearing every once in a while that Angel gifted her from me, I made the bottom piece on this jig. You have this jig, Beth? That's cool. So anyway, we're gonna make this form, or one similar to it. It won't be exactly the same, obviously, but it'll be similar. And with the jig, and after we start this, I will tell you that there's going to be 3 ways you can end it. And I didn't think to get that one piece out. Oh So what we're going to do is we're going to form this, and then I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to show you, well, I'm going to tell you 2 ways to end it, and then I'm going to do the third one myself. So let's turn down, and I will show you how to put it together and then get it started. So here we go. Come on. Okay, and I'm going to try and pull this up just a hair's breadth if I can. That's more of a hair's breadth than I want. Sorry, guys, I know this is probably irritating. Ugh, come on. Okay, close enough. I'm not going to play with it anymore. I'm going to make everybody sick. Hey, Linda. So, this little baby has, come on, out of there. I think I actually put this in here. I don't think it actually came with that little case, but it does come with an instruction booklet here, which is, this side's in French. Doesn't do you any good if you don't know French. So, but it shows you how to put the pins in and such, which isn't hard. It's pretty simple. And then it also shows you how to do some endings and all that kind of fun stuff with it. I personally, looks like they have 2 going here. I don't want 2 going. But anyway, there is this little sheet in here with it if you need to, if when you get it, it will help you decide how to do stuff. But what we're going to do is, because this frame that we're sort of trying to make a copy of, per se, is it's got loops all around it. See, like so. Now, because this has got loops above and below, you could actually go along and like you're going to do this normally, but then you could slip upwards to make an upward facing loop so that you don't have to go from the bottom loop up. But I'll probably just go from the bottom loop up because I think it will make it go a little wonky if you don't. So depending on how many loops you want, this has a whole bunch all the way around it, obviously. So you take your pin, you push it through your hole where you want your things to go, and then they have these little plastic pieces, and you just push it on the other side. Come on, go on, baby. I don't use this very often, so they're a little tight, and that's good because you don't want to come in loose. But as you can see, the pins are smaller on one side and bigger on the other, and that's so they'll go in all right. Now, I'm not sure how many loops we're going to want to make, so I may just put it every other one to start with, and then we'll see how many loops we end up with. Since we want it on a straight form, though, straight across, we're going to go in the same row all the way across. Now, if you wanted to make a zigzag thing or something like that, you could go up and down, and you can go multiple wires if you want. I know I've seen them make bracelets with multiple wires and just sort of weave them together. Well, you know, ladies, sometimes I do do late night eating, but usually it's when I'm recording stuff, when after my husband goes to bed and the house is quiet again. Okay, we got one more pin to put in, so let's see how many we end up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it'll be 11. Come on, go on. Okay, so there's 11 pins all the way around here. I'm going to close my box up so I don't dump my other pins out. I'm notorious for knocking things over. So we'll put this over here so we don't get it lost. And so what you want to do is you want your wire. Come on, baby, where's my end? This has got a notch on it, so I'm just going to cut said notch off. And then we just take the wire and I'm going to start from the top and I'm going to put my loop right here. I'm going to hold it with my thumb. Then just wrap around your loop, which sometimes is easier said than done, especially the first one when you're trying to get things set. But come on. Oh, come on, you. Now, if you know how much wire you're going to use, you can always cut it off the spool, and so you are not fighting with your spool here, as well as your first loop. Once you get the first one done, it's not bad because the first one's holding the wire in place, but the first one is wanting to fight with you. So oh, come on, you. Okay, I'm going to tip this. I'm going to bend this a little bit because I'm going to tip it in one of the other holes to help it stay in place better so that it's not going to slide off so easily when I try to bend it. Still trying to, but it's not as bad. There we go. No, stay in the hole. Some people make this look so easy to start, and it's not, because it really, really doesn't want to start. Once it starts, it's fine. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat. I'm going to take my bell making plier And I'm going to make the first loop with it. Now it's not tight enough, but I can pull it. There we go. Cheating. Wonderful way to be. And then you just go around, pulling it tight the whole time so that it doesn't get really loose and have, you know, lots of bows in it. And I wasn't sure if I should show you that cheat, but then I thought everybody has that problem. And if you've got a bell making plier that's the right size, go ahead and do the cheat because it's certainly helpful. So come on, keep going. I want this to push down so it's flat here as much as possible. I'm going to have to cut this loop. I didn't think to pull out more. That was bad thinking on my part. Oh, come on. I just cut you. Psst. Not sure what the wire's doing here. Interesting. Other than being naughty, it's definitely doing that. So anyway, let's keep going here. Push you down. Now this is 18 gauge that I'm working with here. I wouldn't make this form any looser than 18 gauge because it's or any smaller because it's got to hold things and you want it to be relatively stiff. So now I'm going to cut the wire off right here because we're right here where we started at again. And I'm going to use these lovely Xeron pliers from Heather. And cutters. And weirdly enough, they do not have their information on them as far as what size of wire they'll cut and stuff, which most of these do, but this one doesn't. So very strange. Okay, now we have the form made, and I'm going to have to cut that off right there. And now we need to pull it out off of here. Now, if you've got anything you want to do to it, now's the time. Like, so just push it down now before you pull your pegs out. Like I'm trying to straighten the wires out some here because they're not all nice and some of them are bowed upwards. Like this one right here. Okay, so now to take it off, it's really simple. All you got to do is, let's get my pin box back here. Just pull the little plastic piece off and pull it out. Now these are our last two since they were hooked right here, so it's going to do exactly that fall. So there we go. There is our frame, but it's not quite done. It's done as far as the mandrel is concerned, but it's not done. So the next step we want to do is put things away so they don't get lost. we're done with our mandrel. We'll put it aside. Now we have our frame here for what it's worth. And I'm going to cut this little notch, this little bend I put in, off. So now we would bring this together right here. And you can wire it together. Or just, how many has seen the missing, okay, let's see, what have I missed here? So anyway, this is 18 gauge because I wouldn't want to do any smaller than 18 gauge for a frame for a sun catcher. So what we're going to do is, if you've seen the missing link videos, then I made one link that wired pieces together like this. They came together and I just wired them right there. And this is sort of what we're going to do. The other thing you could have done was kept going and brought your wire together so you had a double loop here in one spot. And then wire wrapped the two sides so they'd stay in place, but then you'd have that double loop. And I didn't want a double loop, so we didn't want to do that. So what we're going to do is something a little bit different. I got this bent now. And I'm going to take another piece of wire. This is some 20 gauge in bronze. And I'm just going to take my wire mandrel and I'm going to wrap this around the mandrel just because I want this length. Ouch. So I'm going to cut it. Actually, I'm going to cut this freaking notch off because I just poked myself with it. I do like these flush cutters that Heather sent me. They're really cool. Anyway, so we're going to bring this all the way around here. And then we're going to cut it where they join up here. And this wire is going to be a secondary piece. It's actually a bit, it could have been a little bit smaller, but it's all right. And what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to face it the opposite direction. So its join is over here on this side. And then we're going to have this join here. And then I'm going to take some 24 gauge in silver because I feel like doing multi-metals here. And then we're going to wire wrap these two together. And because I'm going to put my brakes on opposite sides, even though I'm going to wrap these to bring them together, they're going to hold the other side together more firmly because it's going to be solid on this side for our upper wrap here, and down below it won't be. So this one will be over here on a solid wire. But before that, we're going to take out our block, and I'm going to hammer this a little bit to work harden it some. Now it's making it a little wider, so I'm going to have to pull it around the ring again just to make sure, that it gets back into shape. But I wanted to have it just a little bit work hardened so that so it wasn't so it was a little sturdier. Now I don't need to obviously put it back in the pins. I just need to bring it around again to make sure that it's gonna get back in shape. Wire likes to pop out of shape no matter what you do, so we have to convince it to stay where you want it to be. See, it's still trying to get out of shape, even though we wrapped it back onto its mandrel. So what we want to do now is to start our loops here, and I'm going to put it with this, and it looks like the middle's going to be right at that join right there, and I don't want that to happen, so we're going to back it off just a little bit so it's right here. And I'm not going to put the join together right away. What I'm going to do is, well, I could start by hooking the join right there, but we'll see. We're going to go around, and because this has to have multiple loops here when it goes onto here, I'm going to get out a length of 24 gauge wire. You can also use 26 or even 28 if that works better for you. If 24 is a little bit too stiff for you, because sometimes it is, obviously, and you don't want to use 24, you can go down to 26 or even 28. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to take this piece, come on you, and I'm going to wrap it right here to this right here. And it's going to try and slide off there, and that's not uncommon when you first start things for them to slide around. That's why you want to keep that's why I keep this little loop right here, so that when it starts to slide, I can put my thumb on the loop, and it's still up too high though. And then when I come around, and I don't want to go that direction, I want to go this direction, I can pull it up tighter. You're just being a bugger. Okay. Now I've got that hooked there, so I'm just going to do 3 or 4 loops right here. And I hope you can see my wire work all right, because it's not easy staying on camera when you're working with a long hunk of wire here. So we've got 3 loops started right here. I'm going to push them together with my thumb, and then I'm going to push them so they're really close to the edge of this little piece of bronze wire. And again, I'm going to hold this piece right here with my thumb, and then we're just going to take and we're going to do what I call pretty wrap loops and just go down a couple of times. See like how that's doing? It's bringing the wires together, but it's not creating any problems there. And then we're going to keep going. Oops, my wire hit the screen. Are we still here? My message just went away. Let's see if I can get you back here. Uh-oh. Darn. There we go. Sorry about that. So once we get this going, we're going to just keep going around our frame here. Do a couple of what I call the pretty loops. Now, because there's going to be 2 spots where we have multiple loops like this, I want to, I don't want the different spots to look different. So we're going to get into the middle here, and we're going to do 4 or 5 really, more like 6 or 7, I guess, because we got to have at least 3 loops on either side of our, let go of the, how many have I got here? Looks like 4. So we want this to look more or less the same in all of the spots. I mean, you don't have to. I just like them to. So we're going to push that together like so. And I'm going to do one more loop with the silver. Then I'm going to do the running loops again. Now, if you don't have enough wire, if you end up with not enough, because you're doing this, it helps you get, you can add wire anywhere you want in one of those junction spots. So see what it's looking like so far, like this. When we come around here, we'll add some more, when we'll hook the other hunk of side of the wire in. And this is going to just keep going around like this. Up on top. And then it will hold our piece together without having to make some kind of a loop-like thing over there on that side. So it looks like a continuous piece as opposed to something that's ended and you had to restart again. So hey, Beth Bellew. Beth, I thought you were on earlier. Hi, Heather. I'm glad you make it. I'm making the frame, a frame for like for a sun catcher. We're going to get out of whack here, but that's all right. So I made this piece here on our mandrel. So so we got the little loops all in place. Now I'm making it be one continuous piece by adding another piece of wire up across the top that matches the length of the original one. And I'm wire wrapping it with silver wire so that it holds our holds our wires together here. And then when I get to both breaks, I will wire wrap the breaks close together. And that way it will look like one continuous piece, whereas actually it's got a couple of breaks in it. Now, I did explain that you could do this in other ways. You don't have to do it like I've got it done. You could have just used one piece and doubled up the loop here and this wire and just wire wrapped the length where you were doubled up at, which would have been, right here. Or you could just do what I'm going to do here and just connect these together with some wire wrapping on both sides and going over the gap over to the other side and wrapping the other side. Now, the only problem I have doing that is sometimes the wire wants to pull apart. And if it pulls apart and you don't have anything holding it in place, then, well, you're sort of screwed because it's coming apart. That's all there is to it. Now, this piece wants to roll downward, so I'm underneath and I don't want it there. So I'm going to take this, and bring it back up with my nylon jaw pliers. So we're getting to the place here where we've got to bring our other wires together because she's coming up on the spot where they have to connect. So we're going to have to get one more loop, and then we're at that place where we want to start doing, don't grab it there. We want to start doing our come together on this wire. So what we'll do is we'll wrap 3 or 4 here, right at the very end here. Then we're going to bring this piece up here. Now here's gets a little tricky because you got to hold it as you bring this wire around, because you're going to go over the top of this wire now. Okay. So, come on, baby. And you're going to have that gap in the middle, and it's going to try and go, your wire's going to try and go in the gap. Surprise, surprise, right? And you want to try and keep it from doing that as much as you can. I know that's easier said than done. See, the gold is now behind the copper again, and I'm going to go up and do my other loops here. Go over to the other side of this. Now we've got to come in and out because we're now got that. But so then I'm going to take my there we go. See how now that's more or less, it's got a little bit of a bump right there, which I don't care for, but that's probably because it tried to go into the groove. And so there, it's now brought together. Now see, it looks sort of like the other places, though I do need to squish these guys down. So now we're going to keep going here, just the way we have been. We'll do the like 6 here, really close. And then this is going to come over here. By the time we get this all wrapped up, it'll be over here, and then we'll have our loop all done. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a fancier loop, obviously, because I used 3 colors of metal just because I wanted something a little different. Obviously, you don't have to use 3 colors of metal. I was just being fancy Dan here. Oh, by the way, guys, we're up to 23 members. We only need 2 more members, and we will do the drawing for the logo mug. So, oh, I may need just a bit more wire here. But if that happens, like I said, I can show you how to, add a little bit more, which is not a problem at all, unless you're way at the very end when you decide you need to add some more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 1, 2. And we are going to have to add a little more because we're not going to make it, see? And that's fine because we're going to add it right here. So we're going to make 2 loops like we normally would. And then I'm going to do 3 with this, 2 and 3. Then we're going to let this hang up right here. And then I'm going to get another little section of wire. I don't need very much. Looks like I probably only need 4 or 5 inches, if even that much. I'm going to take our lovely Xeron pliers that Heather gave us and cut this off. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go right beside this one, hold it in place again like we did before, and 1, 2, push it together, 3. Oh, look, we've got extra wire put in there. And this one is loose. It looks like one of them is loose anyway because I can see it bagging up there. Not sure which one it is, but we'll fix it and push them together. And now we have our 6. And we'll take our little guy here, 1 and 2 over the top here. Oh, I should have got a little bit more, but I think we'll be all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to come in here and we've got to do those final wraps around this piece that's coming together. And I think I have just enough wire to do it. I may have to use my pliers because I should have given myself just a little bit more. Usually I'm notorious for giving myself extra. This time I did not. So. Now we want to trim these wires off right here. Push them together, trim them off. Oh, look, both at once. Tuck them in. Now, if I was making a headdress with these, I would want to, these are not as tight as I want them, cut as close as I want. I would need to make sure I tuck these in really good because I wouldn't want them to poke you in the head. But since this is a sun catcher frame and it doesn't really matter, push these together some more so that they are not ugly. Yes, that's exactly correct. That's exactly what I did. I overlaid the one wire over the other, and so that when I put our breaks together, they're in opposite sides. One's over here, one's over here. And that way, you don't have to worry about it pulling loose. So now what I'm going to do is going to go all the way around with my nylon jaw pliers. I'm going to squish all these things down so that they're pretty well in place and that the one wire is on top rather than sliding behind or something like that. And after we finish doing that, we'll put it back on the jig so we can get it back into shape. And we're not going to put the pins on, of course. We're just going to slide it around the outer edge. See how this one's trying to tip side backwards? We don't want that to happen. So she's not quite in shape right there. I think this is where one of our breaks is at, where it's trying to do this little V. It's probably the gold one because it's the bronze wire. Sorry, it's bronze. Is not as heavy duty as the gold, so it's going to come on over the edge. Oh, I got this on back on here, so it's a little. And I got all the silver wire wrapping it, which doesn't help either. So there we go. Now we can just push it down along the edge to get it rounded back out better. Pull her back off. Come on, back off. And now she's back in shape again. And there we have one frame that you can use for a sun catcher. And you've got, I think we had 11 loops when we finished off. So you can drop things down here, and to hang it, you can just put a big jump ring in here and bring some chain or something up to the middle. Now, since this had 11 loops, you're going to probably want an uneven amount of lead ups, but there we go, all finished. And since we still got a few minutes, I'm going to re-show how to put the pegs in so that anybody who didn't see that can see how that worked. It's wanting to go a little wonky, but it's not bad. I'm pretty pleased with it, how it turned out. See how it looks. This one's bowed up just a little bit. We want that not to be that way. So is this one. So, ta-da. So, like I showed earlier when not everyone was here, this is really easy to set up. Got to take our instruction paper out. When you buy it, it does come with an instruction sheet for how to put the pins in and such. They're really simple. They are two sides. See, one side is a little bigger than the other. So you just slip the shorter side into one of the holes and take one of these little plastic tubing pieces and go through over the top of the short piece in the inside. And there is your jig. So what we did, of course, when we did our bracelet, we skipped every other one. I mean, our frame, we skipped every other one to put these in place. Now, if you want them right beside each other, they're pretty tight. See? But I didn't want them that tight, so like I say, just shove those in. And I did show a little trick with my mandrel, my bail making pliers, I should say, for starting this. And I'll show that again because it's a trick. And if you don't know the trick, sometimes this is harder than heck. I tried to do it without using the trick to start with, and it took a while. So the trick to start one of these is I have a hunk of wire right here, I think. Around, oops, what did I bump? Ah, well, it's not important. This is still going. So take your wire mandrel, compare to which one you want to be about the same size as. See, we got this one right here. So just take your wire mandrel or your bell making pliers and just twist your first one up like so. Then you can fit it over your pin and pull it tight. Once the first one's on, the rest is easy. You just hold it and then go along and, well, not with a really short piece of wire. It's not easy, but it's not hard either. So there, see, I've got those little 2 pieces done. So trick, use your bell making pliers to make your first loop. You can also tuck the wire into one of the holes by bending it and just tucking it into the hole to also help you keep it in place while you put the first one in. I did that, but my tuck was not big enough to keep it in place good. So just, there you go. So like so. So there we go. And then it just, you don't even see it over here on this side. And then to take it off, you just pull your pins out. Just pull the plastic, the little rubber tube off, and it'll fall out. So there's how the start and stop. Pretty simple, but if you're wanting to make something like this, it's really helpful. And if you want to make a wire bangle bracelet, you can do this with this too. I can never get a bangle over my wrist, so I'm not even going to bother trying. I'll mangle the shape. But here we go. Now I knocked my tablet off accidentally, so I haven't seen everything. Hey, Debbie. Thank you, Bonnie. I'm glad you think so. Oh, no. Forgot to change your clocks or your alarm because we changed time, unfortunately. I wish we didn't. I really wish we didn't, because, well, for one reason, I'm never sure what time my family's on, if they're the same time as me or an hour off, because they're in Arizona too. And so it's like, what time is everybody at right now? I don't know for sure. So anyway, there's the couple of little tricks to get started. Make a bend, put it in one of the holes, or use your bell makers, or do both. And to end it, do some wraps on either side. And like I said, if you didn't want to do like I did with an extra piece of wire across the top and wiring it together like this, you could put an extra loop here by the beginning one and then cut it off and wire wrap right here and right here to hold them together. But then you do have that one loop that is double. So you got to remember that. The other way is just like I did the where we brought them together here, and just take a length of lighter wire, wrap one side, bring them together, wrap the other side, making sure you keep them tight so that your wire doesn't go right inside your notch. That's a little more difficult to do. I mean, obviously you can do it, but you got to remember that they're going to try and pull apart because you just have the wire holding them on either side. So anyway, there we go. One wire frame. Now, I was thinking of doing some resin work rather than this, but then I remembered that with daylight savings time, it's now dark when I start again. And that's not a really big issue, but with the resin, it's UV resin, and even though I have a UV light to harden it, it will stay a little bit sticky for some time unless you put it out in the sun. If it's out in the sun, no matter how cold it is, if it's out in the sun, the UV resin will harden because it's UV rays that harden it. So so when you put it out into the sunlight, it will gather up those UV rays and harden it faster. Look, I got a little loop. Dang, those cutters are nice. Thank you for them again, Heather. So the UV rays are really sort of necessary, and I cut that too much to make the same kind of loop on this side. Oh well. Look, it's a barbell. But and I prefer to do that. I'm not saying that you can't do it on a cloudy day, because it will work on a cloudy day too. It just takes longer to dry it a little tighter than with you when you do it with the other. It's a dog bone. I love playing with odds and end things. So I'm going to turn us up here since we do have our loop all done. And look, it's over the hour, but not as much as. Could you anchor them using the loops? Yeah. Yeah. Just the loops? Is that what you mean? Just going through and anchoring them at the loops? Yeah, you could. Though your wire would maybe try and escape still. That's the only concern I have when I'm bringing two wires together, is sometimes they try to escape from each other, and you have to convince them they don't want to go away from each other, that they like being buddies. But I like the way it turned out, so we're going to have to use it one of these days, aren't we? But I see what you're saying. Yeah, you could. But if you want it to look consistent, you got to remember you've got to do it everywhere so that you have the consistent look. I have a weird thing about things need to need to be consistent. I'm um I'm one of those people that have to force myself to do anything asymmetrical. So it's just, you know, um, but I mean, I can do asymmetrical stuff, but I have to force myself to do it. So I like things to be nice and consistent. So that's why I did it this way. So for people that didn't see it too well, here's the, come on, how it's looped around entirely. Um, and that's why I did all these little places where I've got the extra wire looped around here so that all the places would look the same even where the two connections were. Sure, we could do that, Beth. Of course, we do the live, and I usually do something there, but and I also do, I have, well, I guess I only have one, don't I, of the, um, but sure, we could do something more intricate for the for the for the members group. Um, if you have anything in particular you'd like me to do, let me know and we'll work on it. But I was saying in Amy's group yesterday, I was pulled a whole bunch more bead bags out of my bin that I stuffed everything into that I as I took it out. Um, as I took it out of the off my piles and piles of messes here, and I found a whole bag more of gemstone beads that I got at Beluga Beads a couple years back, and there was there's all kinds of pretty pieces in there, some petersite and some uh, chalcedony and some amazonite. I was like, oh, this has been hiding from you all this time. You need to put it away in one of your boxes. so, so anyway, we will decide what we want to use for with our little wire frame one of these days, and we'll make a sun catcher with it. Um, we could. Hmm. My one I made with my a rainbow double rainbow Softlex kit. Sort of looks like a hot air balloon, but it's got dangles and then some coming in. I could make different colors of stripes and bring them all in to make a hot air balloon. Might be pretty. Yeah, that's true. What, Heather? The hot air balloon idea with this sun catcher piece? Yeah, exactly. I didn't have to pay for them the second time. I just found lots of pretties. So, yeah, I'll have to find. I've been separating out my beads by color and then by glass or gemstone. So, yeah, we could definitely do that. In fact, I might want to and take every line up towards the top as well as down towards the bottom to make the hot air balloon. Then I'd have to decide what I wanted to use at the bottom. I usually put a crystal down there to imitate the basket. Um, the basket of our hot air balloon. That one took me 2 hours to, or like almost 3 hours to make that one. So this is going to take a while if we make this. I could do it in steps if we wanted to, if it took a long time. And I could do it on the members live. It would make a nice bangle bracelet, but my arms do not do bangle bracelets. Why? Because I can't get them on. I don't know why. I've always had a problem putting bangle bracelets on. This form that I use to make this is actually the beadle-on is for making bangle bracelets. See, it doesn't want to go over my hand. And I'm not going to misshape it by trying to make it go over my hand. So, yeah, we can make a hot air balloon out of this. Was hot air balloon sun catcher. That'd be fun. So, a dollhouse basket. You know what? My sister makes baskets, and I have a little basket. It's not very big, about like yay. If I can find where I put it, that would work for its bottom. Looking for a mini basket. But I'd still want a crystal. Though most of the baskets that are in hot air balloons, they have sandbags like hanging down. So we could actually hang down some crystals for the sandbags. Look at all these wonderful ideas we're having, ladies. So, like I say, we only need 2 more members, and we'll be doing for our rosettes, and we'll be doing the drawing for the logo mug. So that'll be fun. Can't wait to see who gets it. So for those of you who aren't members that might want to be, it's $4.99 a month. You get to see my recorded videos earlier. Hi, Georgina. We're just about done, sweetie. And then Georgina, let me guess, you're in Arizona or something that doesn't change with the time frame. Uh-huh. So and of course oh yeah, I don't, does Canada do daylight savings? I don't know if you guys do or not. But yeah, we changed daylight savings this week, so on Sunday, so it changed our time frames quite a bit. Yeah, we need 2 more members to do our logo mug, and here it is in case people haven't seen it. There it is, my logo mug. Is that backwards to you? It says it's IRG here, and then in Rose's Garden down here. And the membership is $4.99 a month. You get a members only live on Thursday afternoon. You see the recorded videos early. And every once in a while, I do a members only video as well. I've only done 1 or 2 of those, I think. The members live is on Thursday. Thanks for all the pointers, Beth. The members live is on Thursday afternoon at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So, so Saskatchewan is the Canadian Arizona. Heather had the same problem, Georgina. She came on late. She did make it on, but she forgot to change her alarm clock so that it would alert her that I was on an hour earlier than I used to be, because, change the time frames around here. So, which I hate. I really wish they would not do that, but I can't do anything about it. You love you love the time changes, Beth? I don't. It always screws up my internal time clock. And besides that, now it was getting light in the morning and now it's getting dark again. It's dark again. So I'm not thrilled with that, but um though it does make it lighter in the afternoon, which is nice, but we're already getting lighter in the afternoon, so it's not that big of a deal to me. Um I have to change my bead mat. It's fraying out. The bottom one is, and the top one, well, the top one's starting to get a few little nicks in it, but not too bad. But when Bonnie gave me this top mat, which works really perfect for, well, it doesn't because I still go off frame, but it works really good for trying to make myself. Are you taking off, Bonnie? Bye bye. It trying to make myself stay in frame because I know if I'm over at the top of my little cream colored mat that Bonnie gave me, I know I'm in frame. So it works good that way. But yeah, that's the only thing I like about it, Beth, is the extra light at the end of the day. That is nice to have that extra hour of sunlight. Is that a method? I want a custom one. Heather, that would be super great. I wouldn't mind a custom one, but at the same time, unless I'm going to be taking it somewhere other than my desk, this one is tacked down so that it doesn't wiggle on me because like I said, I use the cream one as my indication of where my camera hits down at. So though I was saying to the ladies that when we started that I had talked to Randy ah, a dish drying mat. Yeah, that works too. It would. I have one for my dishes, but um that I had talked to Randy just before she went off to get married, and we were talking about the tripod, and I said something about um would would I be able to use my phone with that one because that's what I use for my recordings and everything and my lives. Excuse me. And she said, "Well, yeah, the phone would hook up, but I think it would be above your head and you wouldn't be able to see the chat." Sorry, bit of dry throat. And I said, "Ooh, that will be a problem." So I was trying out putting my tablet here and to see if I could get it to play at the same time so I could see the chat while we were on. And I could get it to work. It has a lag, but I can still see it enough that I could see what you guys are telling me. So that's good. And it does have a separate place to hook up um, for hooking your tablet on. But Heather had also sent me links to two other ones. One that hooks to your desk, which has like 3 or 4 articulating arms, and one that rolls on the floor, so I could move it if I wanted to, if I get it set up good. And so I'm sort of debating now which one I want to try and use. Probably not the one that hooks to my desk, because even though that would be great, I tend to dump all kinds of stuff on my desk and I would be afraid I'd bury it, so to speak. Right now, Heather, my budget is about non-existent because I tend to use all my excess money for beads and I need to stop doing that. But um, and I'm retired, so I don't have any income other than my annuity and my Social Security, so it's pretty definite. So we're going to leave for the day. Remember, tomorrow is the Claim It Live bead sale over on Randy's channel. So I won't have anything for tomorrow. Well, no, that's not true. I will try and record something this afternoon for tomorrow's video, though it'll come on at a time where the girls are probably still going to be on. But you know what else is new? People can watch it after, and then of course I'll be live again on for the rest of the week after tomorrow, and then Randy should be back next Monday. So looks like she's having a good time. See, 1 hour earlier tomorrow. That's right, Georgina. Sorry, you'll. I know that's no fun to have to get up earlier. Who wants to get up earlier? I tend to laze in bed even if I'm not sleeping. It's like, oh, well, it's a great place to read. Oh, they tell you not to read in bed, but you know what? I always read in bed. That's my favorite place to read. So so anyway, we've been on for almost an hour and a half with our little chat and our making of our pretty little bangle. And I'll see you guys all on Wednesday morning. And I have my class tomorrow, so I can tell you how that went. So far, they told me I only had one girl signed up for my class, but some people wander in and then decide they want to do different classes than what they signed up for, which is no big deal. So I've got to I've got my bag just about all together for that. So there's that. I do have to get some more tools together, but I think I have some out in my craft stuff because I usually take a set with me in my craft stuff so I don't have to pull my regular tools out. And then I'll take my regular tools probably for myself or some of them so that I've got them. But anyway, we'll see you all later. Like I said, Claim It Live sale is tomorrow, and so I will see you all on Wednesday morning. Bye-bye.